Welcome to another edition of the No Job Podcast. I'm your host, Najee Simmons. Here at the No Job Podcast, we believe that everybody has to earn a living, of course, but nobody has to have a job. We believe that with all of our hearts, and we're willing to take risk. We're willing to take risks to make our dreams come true. In fact, this episode is all about risk because anytime you pursue and go after something that you don't already have, you risk what's there. You risk the life that's in your possession. But we believe it's worth it because a job is just about trading time for money, right? But the definition of work, and work is what we're seeking here, work is using your energy and your passion and your time to create or build or contribute to something that is important to you. We only got one life to live. Why not use it building or contributing something that is important to us, something that we were born to do? We weren't just put on this earth to survive. We're here for specific purposes, and we are here to thrive. It's not all about the Benjamins. It's definitely not. But we need money to live, and we believe we're the kind of hard workers that can take our passion and make a living off of it. If you believe that, if that sounds attractive to you, you are in the right place. You are one of us. Join us on the path to joblessness. Join us on the path to no job. My name is Najee Simmons, and this is the No Job Podcast. You can't make your dreams happen overnight. Chances are you are not going to be an overnight success. I'm not going to be an overnight success. Your business isn't going to sprout up out the ground in an instant. It's not going to be magic. It's going to happen little by little, level by level, brick by brick. And we build and we build and we build until we have what we desire. I'm not going to sell you a dream. I'm not that guy. It might be the hardest thing that you've ever done, but it's certainly going to be worth it. Finding a way to make a living doing something that you want to do is the best thing you'll ever do for yourself. It's one of the best things you'll ever do for yourself. But look, pursuing these things come at a cost, right? How can we be smart? How can we take not just a risk? Yeah, we have to take a risk, but why can't it be a calculated risk? This episode is about calculated risks. It's about taking a chance, but not putting anything up that you can't afford to lose. Because I don't know about you guys, my passions are important to me, but my passion isn't more important than my family. My passion isn't more important than my daughter and my wife and I being able to eat. Right? There are some things I'm just not willing to give up. There are some things I won't put on the line. And I think that you probably feel the same way. So how can we take a calculated risk? How can we go after our dreams knowing it's going to cost us something, but not letting it cost us everything? What turns a risk into a calculated risk? What's the difference? I've got a few points. I've got a few aspects that a calculated risk has that a regular risk that just doesn't. These are the things that separate a calculated risk from a gamble. Number one, research. I've talked about this before and I'll talk about it again. Have you studied how people make money doing what you want to do? Have you studied how much money people normally make when they're successful in doing what you want to do? Do you understand the market, the people that usually purchase the service or the product that you want to offer them? Or is it all just a dream to you? Is it all just a fantasy where everything just works out? You have got to do at least the fundamental level of research to find out the way the game that you want to be in works. It is literally as crazy as wanting to move to Europe and become a professional soccer player and not looking up or knowing the rules of that game. That's how crazy it is to want to start a business not understanding how taxes work, not understanding how the market has historically reacted to the product or service that you offer, not understanding what the common challenges that cause people to fail are. Research helps make the difference. It helps transform what could be a gamble into a calculated risk when you've done the proper research and done the next step, which is formed a plan. Nothing ever goes according to plan in this life, okay? But it's important that you have a plan because it's easier to modify a plan according to an unexpected circumstance than it is to fly by the seat of your pants. Planning gives you objectives. Planning gives you goals. It gives you daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals. It helps you to understand if what you're doing is working. You have to take action, and that's the third step. After you research and plan, you need to take action on your plans. You need to actually execute. Because just hoping something happens, that's the definition of a fantasy. And fantasies are absolutely free. No risk involved in your fantasy, but it'll never come true. That's the only problem with it. So once you take that action, you got to add to that action consistency, because nothing happens because of what you did once. Nothing happens because of what you did right once. Nothing happens because of what you did phenomenally once. If I go to the weight room once and I get with the trainer once and I do all the exercises that I'm supposed to do and I follow the exact regime that some world championship bodybuilder followed once, what's going to happen for me? Nothing. I'm going to be sore the next day, and that'll be about it. Add consistency to your action. Do you have a consistent plan of action? Do you have a consistent plan of action? Do you know what you have to do every day? Do you have to market? Do you have to post on social media every single day at a certain time? Do you have to work on your craft and hone it every single day? Do you have a plan of consistent action? Next, once you've researched, then you've come out with a plan. You put that plan into action. You're employing that plan of action consistently. Next up is observation and consideration, right? Remember, this is all on the way of turning a gamble into a calculated risk. It's all about increasing your likelihood of success, folks, because nothing in this world is guaranteed. But how do I give myself the best shot possible of doing this? How do I give my best effort to making it on the road to no job? You've got to observe and commit to your plan. You've got to observe and consider your plan. See whether it's working. See what needs to change. Ask people for feedback. Do your own observation. Find somebody who's done this or something at least similar and find out from them what they did to succeed. Find out from them what they think is wrong with your inputs. Get help and observe. Lay them all out. And that's another thing. I feel like a lot of people have ideas and dreams and so-called goals, but they aren't measurable. And you have no idea if what you're doing is working because you don't know your numbers. I know how many downloads this podcast have. I know how many downloads this podcast has. Do you know the fundamental numbers for your business? Do you know how many views you've had if you're a YouTuber? Do you know how much product you're selling? Do you know what your profit margins are? Or are you just flying blind? Don't get caught up in the movies, guys. These movies following some super genius entrepreneur that doesn't even know which way is up, but somehow he's making billions. That's fake. That's not real. People who succeed are calculating. I can tell you that much. So once you've done your research, you've implemented your plan, you've put it into action, you're doing it consistently, you observe and consider the results and the fruit of your plans to figure out whether it's working, you adjust, and then you recommit. Because you don't get results from what you do, you get results from what you stick to. I need you to stop referring to your dream as a dream, because a dream is ethereal. A dream, it can't be grasped, and it's always protected from criticism because it's in your head, hidden away. It's protected from the reality of the real world. But I'm sorry to break it to you, your dreams can't come true until they touch the real world. And touching the real world looks a lot like failure, looks a lot like not knowing, realizing you didn't know what you were talking about, realizing you don't know anything about the industry and learning hard lessons and having to adjust. Stop calling it your dream and start calling it your risk, because I don't care about your dreams, because your dreams are never going to come true, but your risk might work out. Your dreams are never going to come true. That's why I don't care about your dreams, but the risks you take have a chance of working out. And you increase those chances and make that risk you're taking more and more likely to work out for you. Again, with the level of your research, with the level of your planning, with putting that plan into action, with your consistency in adhering to that plan and its actions, to honest observation and consideration of your results, to adjusting and recommitting on your path to no job. Forget your dreams. Nobody cares. Take your risk. I'm Najee Simmons, and this is the No Job Podcast. Why are we so frustrated at our dumb jobs? I'm not asking you what you don't like about your job or what you hate about it. I'm asking you why you're frustrated there. I'm asking why you're still there. Why you still go back to that desk, sitting in your frustration and really doing nothing about it. Not doing enough on the side to have a realistic expectation of being able to transition into what you want to do. Why do you remain frustrated at your job? Why are you clocking in? Why are you sitting at your desk just mad and disappointed and sad when you know there's something that you would rather be doing? I know the answer. It's because transitioning to what you want to do, the process of transitioning, is actually harder than your dumb job. Right? Your dumb job is dumb and it sucks, but it's easy to stay there. Because the process of making a change, especially a change that hasn't been laid out for you, whose steps haven't been mapped out for you to follow, that society hasn't preordained for you, making a change like that is difficult, and it is much harder than showing up to the same place every day, even if you hate being there. But the fact of the matter is, things will never change from you they will never change for you until you embark on this journey. Why is it hard? Why is it hard? It's hard because you're stepping into the unknown. That's understandable. It's difficult because you're going into an environment that you can't control, or at least your control of this environment is very limited. And we always come back to this question, and I understand why. People want to know, what if I fail? Well, I said this episode is all about risk, but risk doesn't have to be absolute. Why do you always perceive everything in terms of all or nothing? Why can't you risk some things, but not everything? Why can't it be in your control what you risk and what you don't? It absolutely can be, it absolutely should be, and it absolutely is. And right now, you are risking nothing except your happiness in life by staying where you are and doing nothing to change the situation. I'm not saying to quit your job tomorrow. I did that stupidity, and I wouldn't recommend it. But if you're not working a plan to make a difference in your life, you're always going to feel the way that you feel right now. And if feeling this way isn't okay for you, then do something about it. If the idea, and this hits home for me, if the idea of your child feeling that way for her life, for his life, isn't okay for you, then you need to set a better example. And Maybe you won't make it. Maybe you won't make it. Maybe you won't. But at the very least, you can show your children, you can show your community what it means to be striving for a higher ideal than to just survive. Maybe you can show your children what it means to go after their purpose in life. Maybe you can do that. Even if you do fail, even if it doesn't work out, this thing that you've been thinking about, dreaming about for a long time, this thing that you've been fixated on, even if it doesn't work out, what if it's the thing that leads to the thing? What if if it's not the thing, it could be the thing that leads to the thing? What will rise from the ashes of your failures if you are brave enough to risk failure in the first place? How many successes, how many things that you love and enjoy today are the result of someone failing and discovering something they hadn't thought about before? Maybe the dream you have in mind right now is not your destiny, but maybe in pursuing it, you will uncover avenues in your life that you'd never even considered before that could lead you to a great place. You don't know. But what you do know is that you're not satisfied with your situation right now. And I know for me, and I hope and pray for you, that's motivation enough to get busy. Take a risk. This is the No Job Podcast.